Hey folks, we're back with another New Year's Smash review. So what happened on this episode of New Year's Smash? Well, the Elite are a bit, doing stuff. We have Chuck Taylor feuding with Miro to see who would be their young boy, even though that does not sound like a Japanese sex, uh, you know, fuck boy or something. Like, you're my young boy. Yes, I'm your sex slave. Wait, what? And that's what it sounds like, folks. And you guys protest otherwise, that's on you. We had Inner Circle's New Year's resolution. The TNT Championship and the NWA Women's Championship would be on the line after what we had like half the card have crappy matches last week. So we opened up with Eddie Kingston against Pac. The match was okay. I didn't mind it in some sets that it was at least semblance of telling some story involving the Death Triangle and the Butcher and the Blade. We had Hurricane Ranas. We had some counters over with pile drivers. Everybody outside started getting involved. We had a running tope over the barricade. It ends with the Black Arrow. The match was okay. Ended with a post-match beat-up, but then Lance Archer that somehow allied with Eddie Kingston over no rhyme or reason. Somehow they're allied with each other, but either way, it ends with them not getting on the same page, and Lance Archer storming off after a heated argument with who wants Eddie Kingston. Match was okay. Next up, we had a crappy match with Miro against Chuck Taylor. If he wins, he'll become his young boy. And Miro just comes grabbing his freaking face, calling him a young boy. Counters over with super kicks, clotheslines Kip Sabian trying to get involved. I hate Kip Sabian. It's like he's a random indie dude that's English. And why? Because he probably knows the Young Bucks. He has no semblance of TV appeal, isn't entertaining, doesn't have his own gimmick. You have all these dudes that are just feeding over screen time that obviously don't have a desirable character. Freaking Disco Inferno was more appealing, and he's literally an 80s, like a 70s throwback gimmick. I think a 70s, 80s throwback gimmick, but he made it work. You can make gimmicks work. Why aren't you giving them gimmicks? Your television program, work with some of this stuff. Kentucky German suplex. There was some German suplex over for a counter. Miro keeps taking him out by surprise. It ends with the game over, and with Orange Cassidy alone. The match ends with Miro taking control of Chuck Taylor and becoming his young boy. Oh, I mean sex slave. I mean young boy. Young boy. So next we have the New Year's resolution for the Inner Circle. What's going to happen with the new Inner Circle? They will be taking over all the belts. Instead of the former world champion, trying to reclaim back his world title and doing something for MJF. Well, so Hager just came out just shouting, belts, belts, belts. So when they started arguing over who would be the tag team, over Jericho already saying that it would be him and MJF trying to get the tag team belts, Santana and Ortiz would have something to say, then Hager and Sammy Hager. And it's so corny. It ends with everybody in a standstill. Next week there will be a triple threat tag team match to see who will be the top tag team in the Inner Circle. Obviously to make it implode or some crap like that, unless Inner Circle's planning to still psych the fans out of a breakup so early into MJF joining the faction a few months back. Next up, we had a 6-man tag involving Griff and Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr. of the Varsity Blondes, because one guy played in Bush League Baseball, and Brian Pillman Jr. is blonde. Danny Limelight, I don't know who the hell that is. Some dark jobbers. You have your world champion and top of the line free agents from another Fed that are also champions facing off against any jobbers. Why not top baby faces? Why not SCU? Why? Why not SCU? Why not face off against like the Chaos Collective before or some other garbage? Why make them face off against jobbers, and why is it over 10 minutes? We had counters over Magic Killers, Inzaguri. Somehow Kenny was cornered over a bit. They kicked out of snap German suplexes. One V-trigger, the Magic Killer cleaned it over in 10 minutes? It shouldn't be that long. Yes, Moxley came over before for payback from last week, but that dragged over way too long than expected. Lucha Bros came out of nowhere, even though they have no issue with these guys. I understand they're trying to do some invasion, return of the Bullet Club garbage that nobody cares. I'm gonna do a suck why I hate the Bullet Club video sooner than you could say. I don't know. I don't know what you people are gonna say. Other than that, it's just really bad. The match was overly dragged out. Whenever you have these YouTubers come over complimenting over a match or suspectfully, it depended on the opponent. If it's a wrestler that we barely know, or at least wrestlers in a lower developmented or like a B or C show that obviously haven't shown to be in the top of line card, why are they even spending over 10 minutes of a match? I don't get it. I don't get it. The same thing happened over with the Young Bucks when they faced off against had over 20-minute matches with Top Flight and the Hybrid 2. These matches shouldn't be that long when these guys are supposed to be irrelevant. Oh, but they have a 5-match winning streak on Dark. Why are you accounting a B show? Ridiculous. Next up, we have the Jurassic Express against FTR. Oh, God. Okay. So the contrast of undersized Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, it was Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy against FTR, Dax Harwood and Crash Wheeler. And these are the top of the line tag team champs in the business, ladies and gentlemen. Two circus midgets with no gimmick and two circus fat dudes with no gimmick. Okay. So counters over with Northern Light suplex, back body suplexes. Nice decent isolation tactics they always do in every match, so it doesn't feel that unique. Over a midget like Marco Stunt, he gets assists over with Salida Del Cels and Hurricane Rana's over for near falls. A gory special was attempted that looked super weird because Marco is short, so it doesn't look so like he's hooking up the limbs correctly. It ends with the big rig for the finish. Over Tully, sending, I think, Jungle Boy down the steel post for a distraction, leaving Marco Stunt isolated. The match was average. I could say it over that, it was forgettable. Over, I guess, the ranking for the tag team titles. And it just feel like, oh my god, this is such a stacked tag team card. Very little thrive for the tag team belts. There's barely any story whenever they do matches like this, and it's just underwhelming because most of these teams have any semblance of presence or character or fun in them. And you expect a team like Tully, managed by a 4 horsemen, a man like Tully Blanchard, nobody talk that much crap in the 4 horsemen unless you're Flair. That's Tully freaking Blanchard, and yes, and if he finds great faith in a team like FTR, that means they have to do something else, bro. They mad boring. We also had an interview over with Matt Hardy and the Private Party earlier over in the show. Now, you're not friends anymore. You're contracted to be his his manager. So what's gonna happen over relationship? And he comes talking down, calling them jobbers, relevant until he signed in. No one cares about him, and then they just walked away. They didn't even get into a fight. They were just not listening. I guess because he's contracted with them, they can't do much to him. I don't really care about Private Party. They're just a blander Street Profits with, I guess, more mature tones because their finisher's called the Gin and Juice. So it's that bland. I don't mind Matt Hardy having a managerial role. Matt Hardy can just do any gimmick unless it's if it's gonna be entertaining. So hopefully this gimmick, and he just doesn't mix in it. He doesn't mix it with the rest of his dumb gimmicks, and he actually makes the most out of it. Hopefully, that's all I'm hoping from all of this. Next up, we of course have our dentist segment involving Britt Baker and Cody Rhodes with Jay Cordell coming in, bringing over that who's gonna be her opponent soon. Be lucky Brandy was pregnant. Then it goes over that after rewatching her, Britt Baker beat up Thunder Rosa, where Reba's stupid ass laughs, haha. It's like Tony Atlas. It's like Tony Atlas laughs if it was a mid-40s woman just suffering from a stillbirth. Like, kill me now. It's bad. It's bad. I like Britt Baker. I don't mind the whole talk show segment over a woman like her that's a decent talker. But it just feels a bit bland over with Reba trying to be her foil. So Cordell comes around assaulting over Red Velvet. Then it goes over that she'll face off against Thunder Rosa at the Beach Bash thing. I don't care. I mean, I like Thunder Rosa. I don't mind Britt Baker. This feud's been average, and it's just been bland. Next up, we of course had the NWA Women's Championship of the World. Serena Deeb against Ty Conti, 1-on-1. And the match was okay. I can give it that. The final two matches were average at best. Especially telling a decent story in the main event for the TNT Championship. Hurricane Rana, we had some cool moves over Serena Deeb selling over the leg. Trying to stun over the leg, do big pump kicks. I think there was a decent tornado DDT. I like the little Brazilian martial arts detailing over Ty Conti. The chick is cute. I'll give it that. The chick is cute. Like, she magazine cute. So that's AEW is actually doing well scouting for hot women. Other than they need to fire Abaddon real quick. And Mel. Like, she's on the roster doing nothing. Oh, what happened to the Nightmare Collective? Everything happened for the Nightmare Collective. Surprise over roll up over Serena Deeb. Then the Detox came for the victory. Serena Deeb retains a little bit of, closure with her friend Anna Jay and the rest of the Dark Order. Even though the belt really doesn't mean that much because it's not the AEW Women's belt. It was okay. These women put up a decent match. Next up was, of course, for the AEW TNT Championship. It got to be new. All we did was have the same silhouette, but it's black strapped now, so we're making progress. So the main event was, of course, a size differential part. They went over a decent little video over this is not a gimmick, this is a lifestyle. I've been bullied my entire life. Like, Darby Allin, like, he just got to do something risky all the time to make sure he had an equalizer against Brian Cage. That was literally the benefactor of the match. Brian Cage doing reverse vertical suplexes, counters over clotheslines, big boots, gorilla press, but then Darby got busted open early on in the show. He did a coffin drop on the steel steps. The guy was nearly killing himself. And everybody started getting overly involved. Then a surprise roll-up when Sting came, hitting over Ricky Starks. And the show ends with Darby Allin still champ. That's the show for you. We had an average main event. The rest were jobber squash matches, or at least ridiculous matches with very little of a sense of a story, even though you have Anderson and Gallows supposedly invading the company with the world champion. It feels super underwhelming. I want to feel hyped for next week, but AEW just has, like, potential stars that do absolutely nothing. I don't care about the Kip Sabian wedding thing. I don't care about Chuck Taylor being his young boy, and I'm not really fillaging over whatever Kenny's feuding with. And it just feels like they're underutilizing the inner circle, even though they should be doing a lot more menacing stuff than just fighting beneath themselves for tag team gold. I understand the gist, but it just feels like a waste of time. I don't mind Darby Allin, but the whole alliance with Sting thing over Team Taz just feels a bit bewildering. Even though over the last, 5 weeks, Sting finally does some semblance of fighting. Took them several weeks. Moxley's going to be decently over action. I think they've been lacking in main event power for a while. I didn't mind the Eddie Kingston match, but he looked a bit rugged in some of his moves. Eddie Kingston needs to put himself over shape. I understand the whole hoodish grind G look, but it just feels like he should have retired from the sport over 10 years ago. Other than that, the show was average at best. I'll give it a 5. It was mediocre, in my opinion. New Year's Smash is like a New Year's Dash out of your freaking channel whenever you're hovering through your TV. So that's all I got for you tonight. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please comment down below and tell me what you like or what you disliked. Other than that, that's it coming from me. I'm going to be back here still in the DST show. Still trying to work on over a name for the secondary channel. It's going to be more primarily sports related. So you tell me what I should name it. If you don't, I'll figure it out myself. Glad to be back. I know I haven't been uploading it recently, but good to see you. Good to see I'm still alive and kicking. That's it coming from me.